future is already here. It's just very unevenly distributed. So everything I'm going to show you today is commercially available. This is not, so there's one thing that's in beta, but I've already talked to guys and it's working. But so this is stuff that's out there today, and I think it's going to have an impact when people start to understand what it is and how it's fundamentally different from everything else they're going to be doing. So for each one of these things, I'm going to talk about an area. So the first one is that whole idea of that lead gen thing about buyer persona analysis. So let's say I've got an existing account. We've been doing business with them forever. They're a great customer, and all of a sudden, my champion leaves. And so Beth leaves, and Bob shows up. Well, in the old school approach of doing things, I'm going to start panicking a little bit, and I'm going to make some phone calls. Go, does anybody know Bob? I may take a look at their LinkedIn profile and see if I can gain anything from that. But, I'm not really having any real good things. But AI is coming in to become that virtual research assistant for the salesperson. So I got a call from a company in the UK. And so I sat there and they said, I understand you take a look at AI. And I said, yep. And they said, we do AI. And it's great. What do you do? And they said, we do psychophysiological, visceral, and autonomous buyer persona analysis. I go, I have no idea what that is.
Easy for you to say.
And they said, it's easier.
It's got to be an acronym.
It's easier if we show you. And I said, okay, show me. They said, check your email. So I open up my email, and there's an 18-page report on me. They have never met me. They have never talked to me. I'm not going to share the entire 18 pages. I will share with you 3. The first thing that came up in about page 4 was this Jim Dickey's social profile. So here's Jim Dickey on LinkedIn, here's Jim Dickey on Twitter, here's Jim Dickey on Facebook, here's different videos where you can go online on YouTube and things like that, where I presented at conferences. Here's me talking on CRM radio. Here's a word map of all the concepts I talk about. And I sat there and said, okay, well, that's aggregated data. Where's the AI? They said, you want to know where the AI is? We're going to show you more AI. But let me show you on this page right now, based on your LinkedIn profile, I would not send you a cold email. And I go, well, that's good because I don't respond to those. But I'm looking at this thing through a traditional mindset of, okay, they're analyzing structured data. So is it where I live, Boulder, Colorado? Is it my title, research fellow? Is it where I went to school or what my degrees are at? They said, you're not smiling in your picture. That's unstructured data. And he said, we've done an analysis, and people who smile in their pictures are 3.8 times more likely to respond to a cold email than people who don't. We would send you an email. I said, I respond to those all the time. Why would you choose that? And he said, do you know when you joined LinkedIn? I said, yeah, I was on their advisory board. It was pretty early. He says, you were the 8,446th person who joined LinkedIn. So you got 22,000 connections. They all have sales in their titles. They're not people you went to college with. They're not people you play soccer with. These are real people in your space. You live in that application. You're 4.8 times more likely to respond to an email than the average person. So that's just the basic thing. We go down a few more pages into the report. And here in the blue, you can't see it real well back there, but it's an Oceans 5 analysis of my personality. And it talks about the fact that, I'm very self-driven, I'm very analytical type of stuff. I have very low emotional thing in my B2B space, because this, again, only taking a look at my stuff on LinkedIn, where I'm in my business mode. It's not taking a look at Facebook, where I might show pictures of puppies. But it came back through, and I went through on that and said, you got all of that stuff by just doing what? And he said, we went through and started reading all the posts that you've done. We went through and we started listening to your presentations and what you were talking about. He says, if we get enough of those words, we can go in and do that level of analysis. He also came back and told me something else. Over here, they told me, when am I social? This whole ring around here is times of day and days a week. And they came back through and said, Jim is mainly social on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, you already know that I live in this application. Now you know when I live in it, because on the weekend, it's when I go and take a look at what's Tamara Shank doing, what's Barry Goldberg doing, what are my peers doing? That's when I take a look at what they're liking, what they're talking about, because that's when I have time. So if you were going to send me an email, when would you send it?
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Here's the money page.
Jim has no life.
Here's the money page. they came back through, and this is telling you, okay, you're getting ready to approach Jim. And it starts off on saying, here's Jim Dickey, and it says that Jim is independent, pragmatic, needs logical reasons for everything, but is willing to take a calculated risk when necessary. Is that useful? It goes over here, talks about my personality, my communication style, my motivation. I had one thing wrong. It says Jim may have a problem with sarcasm. I have a PhD in sarcasm. But here's something now, you can debate whether or not this is ethical, because this is Cambridge Analytics type of stuff. But it's possible. And more people are doing it. I got something from a company up in Canada that did one of those Ocean 5 analysis of me and also came up with something. They did it based on getting access to 3,300 words I had written. And in doing that, they did that analysis. So here's where we're at. There's a new way of doing this. There's a new way of being able to go in and not only analyzing, doing those relationship maps of here are all the people in this account, but going back to and starting to figure out what makes them tick. Because the main thing, Mike Lodato is a really good friend of ours. He was a professor again at Cal Lutheran University in the MBA program. He says people make decisions based on personal payback, and then you justify them based on what's good for the organization.